Ethan walks into a store looking for headphones, and he has one rule: don't spend more than $100. 5 minutes later, he's smiling because he thinks he found the perfect deal: $99. Right next to him, Oliver picks up the exact same headphones, looks at the price, and quietly says, "That's basically $100. Ethan laughs. No, it's not. It's still in the 90s. And that's exactly the trap. The store didn't lower the price enough to change Ethan's wallet. It lowered it just enough to change his brain. Ethan grabs the headphones without thinking twice, because the price feels like it belongs in a completely different category. In his head, he isn't spending $100. He's buying something under $100. Then Oliver does something strange. He covers the last two digits with his thumb. Now all Ethan can see is 100. Suddenly the headphones feel expensive. Oliver uncovers the price again: $99. And just like that, Ethan feels better about buying them, even though nothing actually changed. The headphones are the same. The quality is the same. The difference is just $1. So why does Ethan's decision change so dramatically? Because your brain loves shortcuts. Instead of carefully calculating every price, it often judges the first number it sees. $99 starts with a 9, so it feels like a $90 purchase. $100 starts with a 1, so it feels like it has crossed into a completely new level. It's the same reason climbing one final step feels like reaching the next floor, even though that last step is only a few inches high. The number crosses a mental boundary. Stores know this better than anyone. They're not trying to save you $1. They're trying to make your brain say one sentence before you have time to think: it's only 99. Ethan is convinced he's found a bargain. Oliver isn't asking whether the headphones are good. He's asking a much smarter question. If these were labeled $100 instead of $99, would you still want them? Because if $1 changes your decision, the price isn't controlling your wallet. It's controlling your perception. Ethan buys the $99 headphones, but Oliver notices something else on the shelf. The store has a sign above the headphones: was $149, now only $99. Ethan looks at it and immediately feels even better about his purchase. "See?" he says, "I saved $50. Oliver asks him one question. Saved $50 compared with what? Ethan pauses, because the answer matters. If Ethan had never planned to buy $149 headphones in the first place, he didn't actually save $50. He spent $99. That sounds obvious, but this is where pricing gets powerful. The store has given Ethan a reference point. His brain now sees $149 first, so when he sees $99, the price feels small by comparison. It's like putting a tiny backpack next to a huge suitcase. The backpack suddenly looks even smaller. The product didn't change, the comparison did. Oliver then finds another pair of headphones with a normal price of $79. Ethan looks confused. Wait, those are cheaper. Exactly. The $99 headphones felt like a bargain because Ethan was comparing them with $149. But compared with $79, suddenly $99 doesn't look cheap at all. This is called an anchor. The first price you see can become the number your brain uses to judge every price that comes after it, and stores can use this in all kinds of ways. A $200 jacket marked down to $120 can feel like a great deal because your brain keeps looking back at $200. A $50 meal can feel reasonable after you see a $90 meal on the menu. A $3,000 laptop can suddenly feel normal after you've already seen one priced at $5,000. The first number becomes the ruler. And now Ethan makes another mistake. He sees a sign saying, "Buy two, get one free." He only came in for headphones, but now he's looking at phone chargers. He thinks, "I'm basically getting one for free." Oliver stops him. "Would you have bought 3 if there wasn't a deal?" Ethan says no, and that's the point. Getting something free doesn't mean you saved money if the deal convinced you to spend money you never planned to spend. A discount can reduce the price of something you already wanted, but it can also create a reason to buy something you never wanted at all. That's why Oliver isn't asking, "How much money am I saving?" He's asking, "How much money am I actually spending, and would I have bought this without the deal?" That question breaks the spell, because a sale can make a $99 purchase feel like a victory. But your bank account doesn't care whether the sign said sale. $99 still leaves your account as $99. Ethan walks into another store a few days later, and this time he thinks he's ready. He sees a jacket marked $199. Then, right underneath it, he sees, "Today only, $129. His first thought is obvious. I'm saving $70. Oliver asks him the same question as before. Would you buy it for $129 if there had never been a $199 price? Ethan looks at the jacket again. Suddenly the excitement disappears. He realizes he wasn't comparing the jacket with what he actually wanted to spend. He was comparing $129 with a number the store gave him. And that's the bigger trick behind pricing. Your brain doesn't judge every number on its own. It often asks, is this cheap or expensive compared with the number I just saw? That's useful in everyday life, but it can also lead you in the wrong direction. So Oliver gives Ethan a simple 3-question test. Question 1. What was I planning to spend? If Ethan planned to spend $80, then a $129 jacket isn't suddenly a good deal because the store claims it used to cost $199. The real comparison is $129 versus Ethan's $80 budget. Question 2. Would I buy it without the discount? If the answer is no, the discount may be creating the desire rather than satisfying it. That's a huge difference. A discount on something you already need can save money. A discount on something you never planned to buy can simply make you spend money. Question 3. What will I actually use? This is the question Ethan almost never asks, because the cheapest price isn't always the best deal. Imagine 2 jackets. One costs $60 and you wear it twice. The other costs $100 and you wear it every week for years. The second jacket cost more. But that doesn't automatically make it the worst purchase. So instead of asking, how much am I saving? Oliver tells Ethan to ask, what am I actually getting for the money I'm spending? Now Ethan starts seeing the store differently. The $99 price is no longer automatically cheap. The $149 price isn't automatically expensive. The 50% off sign doesn't automatically mean good deal, and $9.99 isn't magically different from $10 just because the first digit changed. A week later, Ethan walks into another store. He sees a watch marked $299 to $199 today. His brain immediately says, I just saved $100. But this time Ethan stops. He asks himself the 3 questions Oliver taught him. Would I buy it without the $299 price? No. Was I already planning to spend $199 on a watch? No. Do I actually need it? Also no. So Ethan puts it back. And that is the real lesson. The goal isn't to become suspicious of every $99.99 price or assume every sale is a scam. The goal is to stop letting the price format make the decision for you. Because $99 can feel much cheaper than $100. A $129 sale can feel amazing next to $199. Buy 2, get 1 free can feel like you're winning. But none of those numbers tells you whether the purchase is actually worth making. So Oliver gives Ethan one final rule. Ignore the deal for a moment and decide whether you want the product at its actual price. If you still want it, check whether you can afford it and whether a better alternative exists. If you only want it because a giant red sign says sale, walk away and think about it. And there is one more trick Ethan starts using. Whenever he sees a price like $99, he mentally rounds it up. $99 becomes $100, $199 becomes $200, $49.99 becomes $50. Not because the exact price doesn't matter, but because rounding removes some of the psychological magic. Now $99 doesn't feel like a bargain sitting comfortably below $100. It simply feels like what it is, about $100. That tiny mental change can make you stop and ask whether the purchase is actually worth it. Because stores are very good at choosing the numbers you compare. They can show you $149 before $99. They can put sale in giant letters. They can turn $100 into $99.99. They can make a $1 difference feel like a completely different price category. But you don't have to accept their comparison. You can choose your own. What did I plan to spend? Do I actually need this? Would I still buy it without the discount? And most importantly, am I saving money, or am I simply spending money because the price makes me feel like I'm saving? Ethan came into the first store thinking $99 was cheap. Now he understands something much more useful. A price can change how a purchase feels without changing what the purchase costs. And once you learn to separate those two things, that little $99 price tag loses a lot of its power.